What if the door has been open this whole time and you're the only one who has been choosing to stay inside? Think about that for a moment, not because you are trapped, not because someone locked you in, not because the world is keeping you out, but because the room feels safe, the room feels warm, the room feels familiar, and the world outside looks uncertain. Here is the question that most people never ask themselves. Am I really stuck? Or am I just comfortable? Because there's a difference, a massive difference. And most people spend their entire lives mistaking comfort for captivity. Today, we are going to talk about something uncomfortable. We are going to talk about why you are not moving forward. Not because you cannot, not because you're not talented enough, not because the timing is wrong, but because you've been choosing the cage and calling it home. Let me tell you about a man named David. David is 34 years old. He lives in Chicago. He has a good job, a decent apartment, and a life that looks fine from the outside. Every morning his alarm goes off at 6:30. He hits snooze twice. He showers. He drinks coffee. He commutes 45 minutes to an office where he does work that does not excite him. Every evening he comes home. He watches television. He scrolls through his phone. He eats dinner. He goes to sleep. And every night, before he falls asleep, there's a moment, a quiet moment, where something whispers to him. Is this it? Is this really it? But by morning, the whisper is gone, buried under the routine, buried under the comfort, buried under fear of what might happen if he actually tried to change. David is not stuck in a cage. David is stuck in a chair, a soft, warm, comfortable chair that has slowly become his prison, //. Now, let me ask you something. Do you see yourself in David? Because most people do. Most people build a life that looks fine, feels okay, and is slowly killing their potential. The comfort zone is not a place of peace. The comfort zone is a place of slow suffocation. At first it feels good. You work hard. You achieve something. You rest. But then the rest turns into rust. And the rust turns into fear. And the fear turns into paralysis. And before you know it, 10 years have passed. And you are still in the same chair, watching the same shows, feeling the same emptiness, //. Here is what nobody tells you about comfort. Comfort is addictive. Your brain releases dopamine when you feel safe, when you avoid risk, when you stay in familiar patterns. The same chemical that fires when you eat sugar fires when you choose the easy path. And just like sugar, comfort creates a craving. You want more safety, more familiarity, more of the same, until one day you look around and you realize you cannot remember the last time you felt truly alive. //. Think about the last time you tried something new. Remember that feeling, the tightness in your chest, the voice in your head saying, what if you fail? What if you look stupid? What if it does not work out? That voice is not your enemy. That voice is your protector, your guardian, the part of you that wants to keep you safe. But here's the problem. That voice cannot tell the difference between a tiger and a job interview. It cannot tell the difference between falling off a cliff and asking someone on a date. To your brain, uncertainty is uncertainty, and uncertainty means danger. So your brain lies to you. It tells you that you are not ready, that you need more information, that you should wait until the timing is perfect, and the timing is never perfect. The perfect timing is a myth, a fantasy, a story we tell ourselves to justify staying exactly where we are, //. There's a man named Steven Pressfield. He wrote a book called The War of Art. In that book, he gives a name to the voice that keeps you stuck. He calls it resistance. Resistance is the force that acts against human creativity, against growth, against any meaningful change. Resistance shows up as procrastination, as self-doubt, as fear, as perfectionism. Resistance is why you have 10 books on your shelf that you have not finished. Resistance is why you've been saying you will start exercising next Monday for the last 3 years. Resistance is why the door is open and you are still standing in the middle of the room, //. But here is what Steven Pressfield also says. Resistance is a sign. The more important the goal is to your soul, the more resistance you will feel. Think about that. The fear you feel, the resistance you experience, is not proof that you should not do the thing. It is proof that you absolutely should. If the goal did not matter, You would feel nothing. The fact that you're scared means a thing matters. The fact that you are hesitating means a thing is important. The fact that your heart is racing means you are standing at the edge of something that could change your life. // Let me give you an example. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a swimming pool. The water is cold. Your body tenses. Your mind says, do not jump. Stay here. The ground is safe. But the person who jumps, the person who ignores a voice, is the person who learns to swim. The person who stays on the edge, watches everyone else have fun, and wonders what could have been. That is the cost of staying still, not the failure, not the embarrassment, not the mistake, the regret, the knowledge that you had a chance, and you did not take it, the memory that the door was open, and you chose to close your eyes. // Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is 28 years old. She lives in Austin, and she hates her job. Every morning she wakes up with a knot in her stomach. Every evening she comes home exhausted and empty. She has been saying she will quit for 2 years. She has updated her resume 7 times. She has saved money for a transition fund. She has everything she needs to make a change, but she does not do it. Instead, she complains to her friends. She scrolls through job listings without applying. She dreams about a different life while living the same day over and over. When I asked her why she does not leave, she said, what if the next job is worse? What if the next job is worse? That is the invisible barrier, the fear that keeps more people trapped than any actual lock. What if it is worse? What if I fail? What if I cannot handle it? What if people judge me? // But let me ask you something. What if it is better? What if you leave the job you hate and find work that actually matters to you? What if you start the business and it grows into something beautiful? What if you have a conversation and the other person feels the same way? What if you write the book and it helps someone who is struggling just like you? What if the only thing standing between you and a better life is your willingness to feel uncomfortable for a little while? // Most people overestimate the danger of the unknown, and they underestimate the danger of staying the same. Staying the same feels safe, but it is not safe. Staying the same is slow decay, a gradual erosion of your spirit, a quiet death of your potential. The person who stays in the job they hate does not just lose income, they lose joy, they lose energy, they lose the person they could have become. The person who stays in a relationship that drains them does not just lose time, they lose self-respect, they lose hope, they lose the chance to find something real. // The cost of staying still is not paid all at once. It is paid in small increments. A little less energy each day, a little more numbness each week, a little more resignation each year, until one day you wake up and you do not even remember what it felt like to be excited. You do not remember what it felt like to have a dream. You do not remember what it felt like to believe that something better was possible, and that is the real tragedy. Not that you tried and failed, but that you never tried at all. // Let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus is 41 years old, and for 15 years, he wanted to start his own business. He had the idea, he had the skills, he had the contacts, but every time he got close, he found a reason to wait. The market is not ready. I need more savings. I need to learn one more thing. The reasons were not the problem. The fear was the problem. The fear of leaving a steady paycheck. The fear of failing in front of his family. The fear of discovering that he was not as capable as he hoped. So he waited and waited and waited. // One day, Marcus got laid off. The company downsized. And 15 years of loyalty meant nothing. Suddenly, he had no choice. He had to start something. He had to take a risk. He had to face the fear he had been running from for a decade and a half. And here's what happened. Within 18 months, Marcus built a business that earned more than his old salary. Within 3 years, he had hired 3 employees and was making more money than he ever had before. When someone asked him what he regretted most, he did not say the layoff. He said, I wish I had not waited so long. I wish I had not spent 15 years being afraid of something that was never that scary. // Here's the thing about fear. Fear is a liar. Fear tells you that you are not ready, but nobody is ever ready. Fear tells you that you might fail. And you might, but failure is not the end. It is data. It is information. It is a lesson that teaches you how to do better next time. Fear tells you that people will judge you, and some people will. But those people are not living your life. They are not paying your bills. They are not lying awake at night wondering what could have been. Fear tells you that it is too late, but it is never too late. As long as you are breathing, as long as your heart is beating, you can change. You can start over. You can learn something new. You can become someone different. The only time it is too late is when you decide it is too late, //. Let me tell you about Grace. Grace is 52 years old. And last year, she went back to school, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. For 20 years, Grace worked as a receptionist, a good job, a stable job, a job that paid the bills. But Grace always wanted to be a therapist. She told herself she was too old, too busy, too tired. And then one day, she looked in the mirror and she asked herself a question. If not now, when? If I keep waiting, when will I ever feel ready? //. So Grace enrolled in a part-time program. She went to class 2 nights a week. She studied on weekends. She did her homework during lunch breaks. It was hard. She was tired. She felt awkward being older than most of her classmates, but she kept going. And last month, she graduated at 53 years old. Grace became a licensed therapist. She opened a small practice. And within 3 months, she had a waiting list. People wanted to talk to her, not despite her age, but because of it, because Grace had lived. She had struggled. She had overcome, and that made her better at helping others. //. Here is a lesson from Grace. Your past is not a prison. It is a classroom. Every struggle you have survived, every challenge you have overcome, every hard thing you have learned has prepared you for this moment. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. The only question is, what will you do next? //. Now let's talk about the voice in your head, the one that says you are not good enough, the one that says you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not disciplined enough. That voice has been lying to you for a long time, and you have been believing it. But here is the truth. You do not need to be the best. To start, you just need to start. You do not need to have all the answers. To take the first step, you just need to take the step. You do not need to be fearless. To move forward, you just need to move //. Action is the antidote to fear. Not thinking, not planning, not waiting until you feel ready. Action, because fear lives in your head, and action happens in the world. You cannot think your way out of fear. You have to act your way out. Every time you take a step, no matter how small, you prove to your brain that the danger is not as real as it seems. Every time you do the thing you are afraid of, you weaken the voice that says you cannot. And every time you choose action over comfort, you build evidence that you are capable, that you are strong, that you are the kind of person who does not wait for permission. //. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you want to start a YouTube channel. Your brain will tell you 100 reasons why you should not. You do not have the right equipment. You do not look good on camera. You do not sound professional. Nobody will watch. People will make fun of you. All of those thoughts are resistance. All of them are lies. The truth is, you can start with your phone. You can learn as you go. You can improve over time. The first video might not be great. That is fine. Nobody is great the first time. Michael Jordan was not great the first time he picked up a basketball. Taylor Swift was not great the first time she sang in front of an audience. Oprah Winfrey was not great the first time she sat behind a desk. Greatness is not something you are born with. Greatness is something you grow into through practice, through failure, through persistence. //. Here is what most people misunderstand about success. They think successful people are not afraid. That is not true. Successful people are afraid. Just like everyone else, the difference is they do not let fear make the decision. They feel the fear, they acknowledge it, and then they act anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway, // Think about the last time you accomplished something hard. Remember how scared you were before you started. Remember how your heart raced, how your palms sweated, how your mind came up with a dozen reasons to quit. And then remember how it felt after you did it. The relief, the pride, the realization that it was not as bad as you imagined. That feeling is freedom. That feeling is what happens when you walk through the door, // The door has been open the whole time. Not locked, not guarded, not blocked. Open, waiting for you to step through. But you've been standing in the doorway, looking at the other side, telling yourself you are not ready. You have been waiting for a sign, for permission, for the perfect moment. The sign is not coming. Permission is not coming. The perfect moment does not exist. You have to give yourself permission. You have to decide that today is the day, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel more confident. Today, // Let me tell you about James. James wanted to ask someone out for 6 months. Every day he saw her. Every day he wanted to talk to her. Every day he walked away. He told himself he needed to lose weight first, needed to get a better job first, needed to feel more confident first. And then one day, his friend said something to him. You are waiting to feel ready, but you will never feel ready. Feeling ready is not a prerequisite for action. Action is a prerequisite for feeling ready, // The next day, James walked up to her and said hello. His voice shook. His hands were sweaty. His heart was pounding. But he did it, and she said hello back. They talked for 20 minutes. She said yes to coffee. And 6 months later, they were in a relationship. James later said, I wasted 6 months being afraid of something that took 90 seconds. // How many months have you wasted? How many years? How many opportunities have you let pass because you were waiting to feel ready? Because you were afraid of what might happen? Because you chose the comfort of the room over the uncertainty of the door? // Here's the hard truth. The room you are standing in is not as safe as you think. Comfort is a trap, a slow trap, but a trap nonetheless. Every day you stay, you lose something. You lose confidence. You lose momentum. You lose the belief that you can change. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to leave, because the room becomes smaller, and you become smaller with it, until one day you look at the door, and you do not even remember why you wanted to walk through it in the first place. // But here is the good news. It is not too late. It is never too late. As long as you are breathing, you can choose differently. You can choose to walk toward the door instead of away from it. You can choose to take one small step instead of standing still. You can choose to be scared and do it anyway, instead of letting fear make the decision for you. // Let me give you a simple framework. 3 questions to ask yourself every morning. Number 1, what is one thing I have been avoiding because it scares me? Number 2, what is the smallest possible step I can take toward that thing today? Number 3, what will I regret more in 1 year, doing this thing or not doing it? // Ask yourself those questions. Write down the answers, and then take the step. It does not have to be big. A 5-minute phone call, a single email, a 10-minute walk. The size of the step does not matter. What matters is that you take it, because action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates more action. Before you know it, you will be walking through doors you did not even know existed. // Let me tell you about one more person. Her name is Elena. Elena is 37, and for 8 years, she wanted to write a book. She had the idea. She had the outline. She had the first chapter written and rewritten 17 times, but she never finished. Every time she sat down to write, the voice started, "This is not good enough. Nobody will read this. You are not a real writer." And every time, she closed her laptop and walked away. One day, Elena heard a quote, "Perfect is the enemy of done." She realized she was not trying to write a book. She was trying to write a perfect book, and that was impossible. So she made a decision She decided to write one page every day. No matter what, some pages were good, some pages were terrible, some pages made her cringe, but she kept going. 90 days later, she had 90 pages. 180 days later, she had a first draft. Was it perfect? No. Was it finished? Yes. And you cannot edit a blank page. / Elena published her book 6 months later. It was not a bestseller, but it did not need to be. It sold a few hundred copies. It helped a few dozen people, and it changed Elena forever because she proved to herself that she could finish something hard. She proved that the voice was wrong. She proved that she was capable of more than she believed. / That is what happens when you walk through the door. You discover that you are stronger than you thought. You discover that the fear was bigger in your head than it ever was in reality. You discover that the room was never keeping you safe. It was keeping you small. / So here's my question to you. What door are you standing in front of right now? What opportunity have you been ignoring? What dream have you been postponing? What conversation have you been avoiding? What version of yourself have you been too afraid to become? / The door is open. It has always been open. The only thing missing is you. Not a better version of you. Not a more prepared version of you. Not a version of you who is not scared. Just you. The you that exists right now, in this moment, with all your fears and all your doubts and all your imperfections. That you is enough. That you can take the first step. That you can walk through the door. / Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait until the timing is perfect. Do not wait until you have lost the weight, or saved the money, or learned the skill. Start where you are, with what you have right now. Because here's a secret that successful people know. Action creates readiness. You do not become ready by waiting. You become ready by doing. Every time you take a step, you become more capable, more confident, more ready for the next step. The readiness you are waiting for is on the other side of the door, not before it. / One more thing before we finish. The people who love you, the people who believe in you, they want you to walk through the door, not because they want you to be uncomfortable, but because they know who you could become. They see the potential that you cannot see. They believe in the version of you that you have been too afraid to become. Do not let them down. But more importantly, do not let yourself down. / You have one life, one chance to become who you are meant to be. Every day you stay in the room is a day you will never get back. Every opportunity you let pass is an opportunity that will not come again exactly the same way. The door will not stay open forever. Doors close. Timing passes. The moment you are in right now will not come again. / So take a breath. Feel your heart beating. Feel the energy in your body. And ask yourself, what am I waiting for? If not now, when? If not me, who? / You are not stuck. You are choosing to stay. And you can choose differently right now. In this moment, you can choose to walk toward the door, not because it is easy, but because it is worth it, not because you are ready, but because you will never feel ready, not because you are sure, but because the best things in life are on the other side of uncertainty. / The door is open. The only question is, will you walk through it? Not tomorrow, not someday, not when you feel more confident. Today, now, this moment. / Thank you for listening. If this message meant something to you, then take 5 minutes right now. Write down one door you've been standing in front of, and write down one small step you will take tomorrow, not next week, tomorrow, because the person you want to become is waiting for you on the other side, and they are tired of waiting. / Go, walk through the door. Your life is waiting.